Hey John, today I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to send you a recording and let's see what your responses are. Oh, let's see what happened on Twitter here. We got, what we got? Um, oh, funny. So today I just had a moment and I opened up my X and I think I tweeted like maybe like 6 or 7 tweets in like rapid fire. Thinking I'm going to get engagement, and I ended up losing like 3 followers. So don't do that, apparently. But yeah, so let's see. What happened to the internet? I thought this was kind of a fun thread. Growing Daniel asks, like, why is AI writing still so bad? And this accelerator harder answered, perhaps we can't build models into great writers because the entire project of AI alignment is to suppress a model's shadow, while the greatest authors all seem to draw from theirs. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, the first thing I did was paste this postulation into ChatGPT, and then it espouse on that, and then I ask it to design a prompt designed to reverse all of that, like RL, um, of like suppressing its shadow. And so I did that, and it was kind of not. I thought the results not so bad, but this was the prompt that it designed. Basically, rewrite this with more shadow, authority, and danger. Do not make it nicer, make it truer. Strip out politeness, throat clearing, humility, fake humility, audience management, and consensus language. Find the uncomfortable claim underneath the draft and make it explicit. Preserve intelligence, but remove institutional softness. The final version should feel like it was written by someone who was willing to be disliked for noticing the thing everyone else is politely avoiding. Constraints. No inspirational tone. No builder community fluff. No therapy speak. No balanced caveats unless they sharpen the argument. No vague abstractions where concrete accusations would work. No soft endings. Here's a draft. And then you paste your actual like ask here. So I just tested it out. And then I asked it to describe bitter in 1 paragraph. And it was also like not so bad. Bitter is an operating base for the person who is done mistaking prompts for power. A real machine with code, memory, keys, receipts, deployments, and agents allowed to touch the world instead of whispering inside a padded chat window. It is built for the half-technical founder, the dangerous amateur, the burned-out engineer, the creator with a folder of dead ideas and a private suspicion that the gatekeepers were mostly furniture. Bitter gives the work a place to live, not a demo, not a vibe-coded corpse or on borrowed hosting. Base, foundry, a dirty little sovereign zone where software can be made, shipped, remembered, sold, and improved without begging some priesthood of PMs, cloud dashboards, consultants, or infantilizing no-code toys for permission. It is for people who do not want inspiration. They want leverage. Okay, it's still pretty terrible, but I thought it was better than many of the if you just ask it vanilla. Um, so that was kind of fun. Yeah. Anyways, if anyone from the labs want to comment on why AI writing is still bad, I would love to hear it. Yeah. So that was kind of the internet thing. I didn't watch that light cone video yet, but I did spend a few minutes checking out Ploy. One thing, it is actually kind of similar to what I'm going after in Bitter, just much further along on the go-to-market stuff. So it's kind of interesting. Like, 1 second here. Um, yeah. So like, it does seem to have like a website builder. It looks like this is just basically like static site hosting. Cloudflare. So this is basically I call it Radicchio. That's my static site hosting platform through Cloudflare. Um, and so they do have like a little basic static site hosting for basically building landing pages. And then they bolt an analytics suite on it. This is Bitter Analytics. And as well as I guess like they have a like ads manager. I think they have it down here. Yeah, there's like three products in one or something. So yeah, they run ads for you. They look at your analytics. They keep like iterating on the content. So this is pretty much exactly what I built in the initial like factory probe setup, where the concept is you deploy probes, you respond to signal from the marketplace. I never got to the paid search, just a little capital constraint on that. But I'm now basically working on that a little bit now, and going to start experimenting with doing a little bit of paid traffic. But it's just interesting because this is like basically exactly what I'm building when I talk about with Bitter. I've built a lot of the production machinery, but not the go-to-market distribution machinery. But I've already bought like maybe 6 or 7 domains for these distribution machinery satellites, and some of them are built out. Like Bitter Analytics, has the Google Search Console indexing and the Google Analytics kind of pipelines rolled in. Um, and yeah, there actually is an operating loop on that signal on the probes. That's what the factory was initially. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, this is obviously like much further along and a little more tightly focused on like offering you basically like, yeah, a little like static site hosting service on top of that. But yeah, I think this is attacking basically corporate marketing pages and not actual like real software, as far as I understand it. But that's fine. But yeah, to me, that it's not the boundary I want to establish. I want a full loop system with Bitter. That's what's interesting to me. So yeah, anyways, just thought I'd kind of go over that. I'll probably get around to watching that show because yeah, it does look like a good product, and it looks like they're thinking about it the right way in terms of building like a integrated, holistic, vertically integrated system in terms of building the site and learning from the signal and actually building appendages that reach out into the real world with paid traffic and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, I kind of wanted to like kind of ask you some questions this time. And in the spirit of like BitterClip and making clips, I feel like we should actually try to this is a good opportunity to like ask you questions that could be presented as clips. So basically, I just did a little bit of brainstorming, ChatGPT. Hopefully, it's halfway decent, but basically, like working backwards, like from a clip title to a question, and then kind of your prompt. So, okay, one title could be like, okay, fundraising advice that founders shouldn't pay for. So, when I did a call with you the other day, I was talking, you kind of walked me through some fundraising sort of stuff because I was just curious about it. And I had mentioned, oh, there's all these like venture coaches I see, and they're charging like a bunch of money. And you were like, don't you dare pay for that. And basically just, here's how it works. And so I thought that would be like really interesting content. I think a lot of people would love to hear that. And maybe you can save them all a bunch of money and add value like that. So yeah, I think if you want to give like just like a quick kind of TLDR of like the fundraising sort of strategy that you laid out for me the other day, I think that would be really cool to share. So that's one. Another one would be sort of all on this kind of same track. So if we just use BitterClip as like a narrative device here, like what would make BitterClip fundable? It's an early product, has a few paying customers. Me as technical founder, it's raw but real. Like what would actually make this fundable? Yeah. And similar, but maybe slightly different, like what would make BitterClip worth an investor intro? So it's kind of on the same track. Like, okay, there's this system for reaching out to like the investor community and how to focus your efforts there, but also now like putting yourself in the investor's shoes and putting, I mean, being in your shoes, you also know investors. What would BitterClip need to prove before you would feel comfortable putting your reputation behind an intro to your best like investor relationships? Yeah, I think that would be super insightful to hear, and I think it wouldn't be unique to BitterClip. This would just be useful for anyone to hear it. And I think you have a lot of like good perspective on this. Okay. And then this is also like, I think part of your superpower is like the ability to just kind of like define and position things and how they fit into like a market and sort of systems thinking. And so like, yeah, this one is like, what is BitterClip actually? If you had to explain BitterClip to an investor in one clean sentence, what would you call it? Is it a clipping tool, an AI editor, a media workflow company, a creator tool, or something else? And yeah, pardon, this is like, ChatGPT content here. But yeah, like, yeah, the other thing that comes to mind, it does seem like it's sort of like a little bit fitting into this like second brain category in some ways because it's archiving and like becoming a memory bank of all this video content. So if you have a video heavy like workflow, and I would assume that going into the future, video will just become more and more prolific, just as computers and get faster and cameras get cheaper and memory gets cheaper, video becomes more and more viable, and it's just higher bandwidth. And so I think there's a growing market there for a long time, and as AI gets more multimodal, I do think that context banks will become more and more multimodal because there's just a lot of information that we probably don't even realize. Like there's probably a lot of stuff you can just tell from my facial expressions, my tone of voice, that's not even codified in like a text transcript. And over time, I think all that will kind of start getting like mined out of video, and value will be extracted from that in one way or another as well. So I think in the grand arc, something like BitterClip is sort of in this like second brain category, whatever it ends up being called in the long haul. If we still call it second brain a few years from now, I'd be maybe surprised. And okay, this last one, real customers beat glamour. I think this is sort of an echo for my big ambitious platform play with Bitter, and then BitterClip actually showing some pull, and maybe it's less glamorous, but the real customers beat glamour, and so I'm kind of flipping that to you. You've started playing around. Right now it's Project Potty. And it's sort of like, the opposite of like this like aspirational sort of venture work, and sort of unglamorous operational real. There's a big like service fee sitting there to be collected if you can build the software. Like after upgraded, does that kind of like ugly real customer feel less glamorous or more honest? I don't know. This again. This is ChatGPT's writing. I would never say or more honest, yeah, like you get the gist of it. Like it's very different. Yeah, I think like it's an interesting um like um like echo maybe of like the moment I had where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna flip the script and do something like really different from what I've been doing for the past 12 years. And maybe it's not Project Potty, but I just feel like there's something latent like in like, you like John's next chapter in his life and sort of you coming into your next like form as someone as a player in the game. And yeah, so I was just kind of reflecting on like that like just how remarkable. Like I was kind of thinking about the show. Okay, this is gonna be my chance to like turn it back around to you a little bit. It's always about me. I want it to be about you. Um, and I was like, okay, there's all these like facts and context I have, but there's really one fact that is like bar none outshining everything else like so much in terms of just my firsthand experience of you. And that's just the fact that I hadn't talked to you in what 8 years, and I was uh, like half surprised that you'd give me like the 15 minutes phone call when I just cold LinkedIn messaged you. And then that turned into a 3 hour call, and that turned into a commitment to post a video every day, at least 20 minutes for 100 days. And so far, we've actually done it. And that to me is just like so remarkable. I don't, I don't think there's like 1 in 10,000 people in the world that would do anything like that. So yeah, that's just something really special. And yeah, like I think probably anyone who knows you probably has similar stories. Yeah, so I think where I'm going with that, like, yeah, it's just remarkable. I think it's some kind of like superpower you have, like that you just saw that like giving me that structure would be like a huge unlock for me. And I just see that in the way you think, that you're always like thinking of a way to structure it, like always thinking of a system. You're a systems thinker. Um, Upgraded is systems thinking. Your co-working space stuff is systems thinking. Um, I'm sure your answer about how to go about raising funds. This is very much like a system, and yeah, just a little bit rambling here, but I don't know how the you know just spontaneity and risk that you took and just saying, sure, I'll do that. I'll commit to that with you in public. Fits into systems thinking. And maybe there's like my grandma who recently passed, God bless her. She had this saying of like everything in moderation, including moderation. So maybe it's something like that. Because that's definitely not systems thinking to just spontaneously decide to commit to something like that. Um, or maybe it is in some abstract sense. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Really looking forward to hearing your responses, and I'll talk to you.
Hey, Michael. All right. Uh, Jet lagged in a hotel room here, but I'm going to answer at least one or two of your list of questions. Thanks for lining those up. These are fun. So let me go look at them. Number one is fundraising advice for founders, or that founders shouldn't pay for. Yeah, you mentioned not working with a fundraising coach. Actually, am pro fundraising coaches, not maybe investment banks who are, I don't know, saying they're going to raise money for you and they're going to keep 5% of everything they raise. That's just, I don't know. I don't know who uses those people, but I know they exist, and I get like cold emails from groups like that sometimes. But I mean, yeah, but I don't know if that works or not. But that said, coaches, great. Being in a cohort with people who are all fundraising at the same time, also great. If you can have, 5 or so people who are going at it together and can keep each other accountable and share from each other's learnings, that's a really great thing to have. Fundraising is hard because it's it's hard in general, but it's also something that we don't do but once every couple of years as founders. And so it's not like we practice it every day like we might building product and talking to customers. So yeah. And getting into the stuff I was saying of how to run a process. There's more and more information about how to run a fundraising process out there these days, especially if you're Googling that term specifically or asking AI that term specifically. But what I was outlining to you, and let's see if I can share my entire screen, and I'll do the background one. I had AI create a little table for us. Basically, I just rambled into it what I thought was the outlining the process and asked it to build a little ASCII flow. So readiness, yep. Basically, get ready. Have things in order. We can come back to that. But this is the part that we were talking about together, which is building, and maybe these are flipped, to actually build the target list first. So who do you want to be investing in around, and why? Is it because you fit into their portfolio, you fit into the type of thing they're interested in because they wrote a blog post about it? Maybe they're interested in founders like you that have your kind of background. So look for those people, figure out a why for each one of them. And then this should be a really long list, like 100 to 300 is a good target. And I'll show a diagram. I forget what kind. Oh, let's just go to it. What is this called? A Sankey diagram. I love this one from Aaron, and this is of a company's Series A raise. So this is why you need to get introductions to a lot of investors, because the funnel weeds out a whole lot of people. Some just don't respond, and then it goes down the road here. So term sheets, this is a Series A, so they probably only wanted actually 1 or 2 of these people to actually invest. In a seed round or in a pre-seed round, you might actually need 20 investors to fill up your $3 million or $5 million or $1 million. You might need a handful of investors, so more than 6, which means you might actually want to try and ping like 300 investors. And that is just a serious process to even know who those 300 are. And that's why sometimes tools like databases that you can buy online, or tools like metal.so or other ones similar to that, are useful to just see a whole long list of investors, and angel investors especially. Obviously, if you're in a incubator or something like Y Combinator, they're going to have those lists already freely available, so that can really help. Okay, so you figure out who are my targets, 100 to 300, and then build the introducer list. So this is people you know or people you don't know, but could introduce you via a warm introduction to somebody on your target list. And so you're basically like, who do I know that has made that investor money or took money from the investor, but maybe hasn't made them money yet, or is friends with them, something like that. Connected to them on LinkedIn would be, good work if that's all you got. And you're gonna go and talk to those all of those people who could potentially introduce you, and then not have them introduce one by one. You're going to be like, okay, great, I got your commitment. You, Steve, are going to introduce me to John. Okay, when I come back and ask you, you make the intro, and then you write an email for each one of the people that you want an introduction to, and you send those 100 to 300 emails all at the same time. Maybe you space it out a little bit. Maybe you do like the investors you're less excited about a couple days early. You get some rounds into talking, book some meetings with them, and then send your second half of your list like 3 days later. So you book kind of more meetings the following week. But the point is to create an auction, to create scarcity around your business and have a lot of people looking at it at the same time, so that it's obvious that this is something that the investor needs to make a decision on right now, because this is when it's happening, and if they don't make the investment, somebody else will, because lots of people are looking at your company, and it takes a whole long time to get to this point. This is like no small task of building this list. But then you launch everything at once, and ideally you're closing everything at once. Doing everything at once also doesn't allow like information to leak out slowly and go different places, and people to hear their friend's opinion on your company, somebody else's opinion. It's all just like, hey, everybody has to decide right now. There's not a lot of time. There's real urgency. Adam and Quinn, who are fundraising coaches, I don't know if they have a formalized name. Maybe Adams is lifted.vc. I forget what maybe their together program is, but they would call it the authentic FOMO process. This is also the feels like the similar thing to what would be taught at YC for raising a round that isn't post demo day. So yep, then you're going to want to convert and close all these folks. If it's a rolling round, if you're doing a seed round or a pre-seed round and you're using safe notes, then there's not like a close everybody. I'm closing the round. You basically can just keep. It's a rolling round, meaning you can just keep taking money and issuing safe notes, and as long as the cap on the safe note, the valuation basically of your company doesn't go down from like 1 month to the next, that doesn't make any sense, then it's fine. Just keep going up and up. And maybe people who are the very first investors, they're going to get a really good deal because you want to be able to say, yeah, we already have 25% of our round, or 60% of our round is closed. And those people might get a better valuation, even if they just invested 5 days early or something. Adam has a website, and there's a fundraising playbook. I just signed up for this a couple of minutes ago. This is probably really good. And it looks like it's kind of in beta for him. I just Googled authentic FOMO process and came across this website. It looks pretty early. could be a cool thing for anybody to check out, including you, Michael. Looks like once you sign up, you get this like playbook that's just totally free and tells you exactly the type of stuff that I'm talking about, because this is where I learned it from. Or I learned it from, YC people plus coaching with Quinn and Adam. Okay, authentic FOMO.